This episode is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, the #1 seller of games and gaming accessories. And GatheringMagic.com, the #1 resource for Magic the Gathering news and articles.
Oh, hi. My name is Charla, and this is Kaalia of the Vast. My general is Kaalia of the Vast. So if you're not familiar with her, she is a 2/2 flyer. When she attacks an opponent, I can take an angel, a demon, or a dragon creature card from my hand, put it into the battlefield, tapped and attacking. So she really is just about as aggro as EDH gets. What I really love about her is she allows me to play with all the broken fatties that I've always dreamed about using. But their mana cost is just too high to typically be able to cast them on their own. The other thing that makes her really, really strong is that when she dumps these creatures out onto the battlefield, I'm not actually casting them, so it doesn't allow my opponents the chance to respond to that part of the stack. They can't be countered, they simply enter the battlefield. So I've taken this deck and I've really tried to find creatures that have insane enter the battlefield effects, and play with that. Alright, so I'm going to start off with probably one of my most broken creatures in the deck. This is Avacyn, Angel of Hope. So not only is she an 8/8 flying vigilant angel, she makes all of my permanents indestructible. She is phenomenal. What I really like to use her for is to Armageddon all of my opponents, destroy their lands. She's also not bad if I'm doing Wrath of God, clean the board slate, leaving me in the strongest position. So that's Avacyn, she's phenomenal. Angel of Despair. So she is a staple for Kaalia. When she enters the battlefield, it destroys a target permanent. I like to use her to destroy lands early on. If it's later game, she's great to get rid of problematic combo pieces. Angel of Serenity. So I use her for two purposes. One, I use her to get rid of any type of blocker or problematic creatures on the battlefield, but I also use her to restock my hand with fatties from my graveyard. So she's a great multi-purpose creature to have. Linvala, Keeper of Silence. So she has a casting cast of only 4, so I can cast her in her own right. What I really use her for is to turn off decks like Azami, stuff that has creature abilities that are allowing people to win. Iona. So Iona is phenomenal. I had taken her out of my deck for a while because when she gets briberied, it's a real pain in the butt. But in the end, I think she's worth it because she can help me shut down a multiplayer game by making it so other people can't play the colors of their choice. So, you know, her being a 7/7 is no joke either. Akroma, Angel of Wrath. So she is a flying first strike, vigilance, trample, haste, protection from black, protection from red. Need I say more? Akroma, Angel of Fury, her sister card. So she's great because she can't be countered if it's late game. I do like to see her. The fire breathing also helps me use the spare mana that I'm not using later on. Gisela, Blade of Gold Knight. She is a win more card. Just gets me there faster. Desolation Angel. So she is actually a creature that I don't want to cheat out with Kaalia because without her kicker, it destroys only my lands. That's pretty bad. But when I cast her, I can destroy all lands in play. And the wonderful thing about Kaalia is I really don't need lands once Kaalia is out on the battlefield and semi-protected. Aurelia, the War Leader. So this is another card that I don't always like cheating out with Kaalia because she loses her attack trigger. However, she's pretty great for the next time I come around. Attacking with Kaalia, cheating out a fatty, awesome. Attacking with Kaalia twice and cheating out 2 fatties, even better. Aegis Angel. I put her in here actually just to protect Kaalia. She makes one of my permanents indestructible. Reya Dawnbringer, so I have her to help bring back the fatties that have been board wiped, so she's pretty great. Karmic Guide, same idea of bringing cards back from the graveyard. Replaying creatures, nothing better than that. So she has an Echo Price. I don't always even bother playing the Echo Price because once I've used her, she's kind of done her thing. Alright, so moving on to my dragons then. You know, really Magic's favorite creature. Bogardan, I don't even know how to pronounce that. Bogardan Hellkite. So he is pretty awesome. When he enters the battlefield, it allows me to deal 5 damage, divide it up as I choose. So, you know, that's really great. Get rid of problematic creatures, do a little bit of extra damage to my enemies. Solid card. Balefire Dragon. So this is another great board wiping card. Deals 6 damage to each creature or player controls. So, Hellkite Tyrant. I really like this one to steal people's combos pieces. Say they have Helm of Obedience on the table. Not anymore. Mana Charge Dragon. Again, this is a great one for multiplayers. If I am not the scariest one on the table, people are going to help me gang up on, say, Zur or Cedrus or someone else on the table. So it's great. Skittles, the Blight Dragon. So I don't usually kill people with Infect, but it's a card that has to be answered. They can only take 3 hits from Skittles before they die. He can be regenerated, so he's not easy to get rid of. I really enjoy playing with him. Dragon Mage. This is actually one of my newest cards to the deck. I really like it so far, though. I use it to, 1, keep people off of their game plan, and 2, reload my hand with fatties. So he's really, I'm liking him a lot. You'll see the Morning Star. So this is a creature that I like to see die. He's a 5/5 beater. It's going to make people really question whether or not they're going to kill him, though, because it makes it so they skip their next untap step, effectively skipping their turn. Kukasho, the Evening Star, same sort of thing, except this one is causing all opponents to lose 5 life, and for me to gain that much. He's great. Bladewing the Risen. I really like this card. Again, playing a dragon twice is always better than once. Utvara Hellkite. Now this is the king of the dragons. Anytime I attack with a dragon, he is just a dragon engine. He just spits out 6/6 red flying dragons. That's awesome. Alright, so moving on to my demons. I actually run fewer demons than any other creature type in this deck, but they also are my main win conditions. I run the Bloodgift Demon just as a utilitarian piece, allowing me to draw extra cards. And then, of course, Rune-Scarred Demon. It's a tutor card on a stick. Lord of the Void. I just like this card. I have a lot of fun playing with it. 1, you can exile something that people have just vamp tutored up. But number 2, if you're playing against like a Reanimator deck, you can get some really juicy fatties. He's just a lot of fun. So here we are, Rakdos the Defiler. He's crazy awesome. He is probably my absolute favorite card in this deck. Whenever he attacks, it causes the... you have to destroy half of your non-demon permanents rounded up, and when he deals combat damage to a player, they have to do the same thing. But with Kaalia, you cheat him out. It skips that attack trigger, so I get to keep all of my stuff. They're sacking things. And honestly, once he's in play, I usually will go ahead and swing with him a second time because I'm 1 step ahead of them with sacking things. And again, as I've discussed before, I don't usually need my land once Kaalia is out and secured. Master of Cruelties. This is the Silver Bullet. He is the reason people, you know, hate playing against Kaalia. They know he's in my deck. They know that if I bring him out, they're just dead. So typically when you play with Master of Cruelties, he can only attack alone, and he can't kill a player. However, if you play him with Kaalia, again, it skips that attack trigger, so he brings their players down to life to being 1. Kaalia finishes them off. So Master of Cruelties. Aven Mindcensor. So this kind of starts bringing to the more control-y aspect of my deck. Kaalia doesn't have counter spells, and I do play in a really competitive circle that does a lot of combo pieces. So this is going to help stop those people from tutoring up the things they need. So I love this card. I recommend it. If you play white, this is a must-have. Winter Orb. This is just shutting down other people's playing aspects. You know, I'm throwing Rakdos on the field. They can't untap their lands. Blood Moon, same sort of concept. Yeah. I've got quite a few of these different sort of land hate cards. Price of Glory, I really like this. It's going to make someone really think twice before they counter Kaalia. It's going to set them back several turns. Mana Barb, same sort of idea. We've got Armageddon, of course, the classic blowing up all the lands. Decree of Annihilation. This one is fantastic because of its cycling effect. It's not even a spell that you're casting then, so no one can counter it. Fantastic card. Pyroblast. I actually use this one a lot when I'm casting Kaalia just to make sure she makes it onto the board safely, but it also helps me get rid of any pesky kind of blue permanents that are around. And it's my only counter spell in the deck, so I really like it. Terminate, good spot removal. Again, a little bit more spot removal with wear and tear to get rid of artifacts and enchantments. Vindicate, I like the flexibility of this card and love the artwork. Wrath of God, sometimes you just need a board wipe. I don't use this one a whole lot since I have a creature heavy deck. Planar Cleansing, same sort of concept. Sometimes in EDH games, you just kind of have to hit a reset button. Merciless Eviction. And then I've got Relentless Assault. So this is great, same sort of concept as Aurelia War Leader, allowing Kaalia to attack more than once. I've got Furnace of Wrath as well, giving all of my creatures a double strike. It just gets me there a little bit faster. Kaalia really has to kill off its players quickly in order to gain any kind of ground in a multiplayer game. Alright, so here we are moving into my tutor effects. I run as many of them as I can. There's a few more that I can add to it, but it's a pretty solid base so far. Got your Vampiric Tutor, your Demonic Tutor, Diabolic Tutor, not nearly as good, but still same effect. Increasing Ambitions. I like this one for the flashback too. If it's late game, I'm really going to have to start hunting for stuff to win. Phyrexian Arena, just a good way to revamp my hand full of fatties. Necropotence, again, this card just wins. It's phenomenal. In EDH, your life really doesn't matter. You're going to want to be using it as a tool. Sensei Divining Top, should go in every EDH deck. Lightning Greaves, these are key. I almost always tutor this up for the first thing. Equipment is 0, which is phenomenal. It's going to protect Kaalia, giving her Shroud, and I want to get her out there fast, and I want to get her haste. So I've got a pretty strong package for giving her haste. If people have more things or more ideas on how to do that, please put those in the comments. Again, Swiftfoot Boots, not nearly as good, but haste. Resonator, this is one of my strongest cards. Being an artifact, it allows me to trigger Kaalia's effects more than once, over and over again. Again, one fatty is not as good as 2. Crucible of Worlds, this should go without saying. As I discussed, I do really like blowing up lands, so if I can bring my lands back in, it's great. Also, you know, put this with Strip Mine, Teutonic Edge, stuff like that, and you're just slow rolling someone. Soul Ring, Mana Vault, these things should go without saying. They're a must-have. They're going to get Kaalia out the fastest that I can, ramping into her. I want to see her turn 3, turn 4 at the latest again. Grim Monolith, same thing. Talisman of Indulgence, I would run more of these if they existed. I really like this one for mana fixing. That being said, I do run the Signets then, since there aren't more talismans in her colors. Sigments are good, not as great. Darksteel Ingot, same concept. A little bit of mana fixing, a little bit of ramping. Chromatic Lantern. Moving into my lands then, I run just a couple of basics. I've got 2 mountains, a swamp, plains, and then I move into my fetches, These are great for shuffling effects. I do need to have my dual lands, but you know, you never want an EDH deck to be finished. Always something to work on. These are my shock lands then. Got your Sacred Foundry, Blood Crypt, Godless Shrine. Then moving on to the Isolated Chapel, Dragon Skull Summit, Clifftop Retreats. And then I also run the Pain lands as well. Again, since I want to see Kaalia so early on, I need to see all 3 of my colors as soon as possible. So I try to run as many of the mana fixing as I can. I still need to get the white-black filter land as well, but I'm going to come to that. I really like this card. It comes in untapped when I need it to, and later game I'm not as concerned about a land coming in tapped, so I really like this card. Shadowblood Ridge, same concept. Lava Claw Reaches. I do like this one because a lot of times people forget that this can turn into a creature and it can make a difference in an attack. Again, these are my filter lands, and I do need the white-black one still. I play the bounce lands. I keep debating them since they are such targets to being blown up, but right now they're in there. They're good for mana fixing. Of course, no EDH deck is complete without its command tower. City of Brass, Glimmer Void, Reflecting Pool, Cavern of Souls. This is a key land. Again, Kaalia is most vulnerable when she first comes out of my hand, so I want to make sure that she's not going to be countered. I want her to hit the battlefield. Ancient Tomb, solid ramp card. Hall of the Bandit Lord, again, it's just going to get her haste, get her out there faster. Slayer's Stronghold, not nearly as good, but same sort of concept. Rogue's Passage, who knew this card could be good? So Kaalia also is a 2/2, which means she's kind of a wuss. She can get blocked by and killed by almost anything out there that flies, so this makes it so that she can make sure she hits her target or any of my creatures that have effects when they deal combat damage. Reliquary Tower, must have, and of course I end with my Strip Mind, which I love playing with Crucible of Worlds. Anyway, that's my deck. I hope you enjoy it. I have a lot of fun with it, and that's about it. Leave some comments if you have some good suggestions. Thank you so much for watching CMDR decks, and don't forget to subscribe and favorite.